Hi, Ellie. Yeah, that's right. There has been a shortage now of cucumbers, tomatoes, red peppers, all sorts of things like that, with many of Britain's leading supermarkets saying that they are having to ration these items if they're available at all, so that households or individual shoppers can only buy a certain number each. And this is coming after there's been a similar sort of rationing of eggs for some time because of the avian flu that's been going around. Of course, what happens when these sorts of measures are put in place is that people tend to go out and try and buy the very products that they're told there's a shortage of because they think they ought to stock up.
Yeah, we all remember toilet paper during COVID, right?
That's exactly right. And I think in some respects, that's what the supermarkets are trying to avoid in putting in place these measures. Now, the interesting thing is if you go out to some of the smaller retailers, independent grocers and the like, I mean, I did that earlier, and here you can see I have a beautiful bowl of fresh tomatoes. So don't tell, the neighbors might be coming round. But the point is simply that there are tomatoes and things available, but there is undoubtedly a shortage. And some have said that the supermarkets simply don't want to pass on or absorb the cost that's gone up, so they are not interested in paying more for these items, and some of the more independent grocers are. This is all being blamed on the weather as well as Brexit. So there has been inclement weather for growing these vegetables in Spain and in northern Africa as well, and so there's less of the vegetable to go round and therefore less to be sold, and the prices go up. But apparently this could last for a few weeks, we're told, or it could continue sometime into the future, depending on who you talk to. And importantly, some of these vegetables can be grown in the UK once the weather gets a bit warmer here. Still a bit chilly. I've still got my pullover on. But as the weather hots up, it's possible that some of those vegetables could be grown locally. In the meantime, though, where greenhouses are used, for example, in the Netherlands, in Holland, and in the UK to grow tomatoes, for example, the rising cost of gas has been an increasing problem in managing to produce those vegetables in that sort of environment as well. So all of these things showing just how fragile the supply chain is when it comes to food, and how countries like Britain don't have a degree of food independence that might be able to help them weather these sorts of storms.
Yeah, we speak about energy independence, but no one's talking cucumber independence. And obviously the impact on restaurants and other sectors of the economy is very much prevalent too, which brings us to the soaring cost of living in the UK nowadays. What is the government planning to do?
Well, there's not an awful lot the government can do about the vegetable situation. There was some controversy again with the government minister saying that perhaps people should enjoy seasonal vegetables a bit more and eat more turnips. But I don't know many people who would substitute turnips for tomatoes, and that's been largely mocked in the press. In terms of the wider cost of living crisis, again, the government is only able to do a certain amount. It's been trying to support people's gas and energy bills. The energy price cap is coming down, and while the wholesale price of gas has in fact dropped, some are pointing towards the energy companies saying they're too slow to react in reducing their prices, so that people aren't necessarily feeling the benefit of that. And going forwards, with the economy not doing well in Great Britain, people are feeling the crunch. They're feeling that they're unable to afford quite as many things as they liked. I just don't suppose many people thought that tomatoes and cucumbers were going to feel like such a luxury.
Yeah, but Jonathan, before we let you go, I will ask you that, and it might sound rude, I do not mean it, but in Mediterranean cuisine, cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers are essential, but are they so crucial for Britons?
Well, British cuisine over the years has moved on a bit. You're talking to a half Italian here, so tomatoes are certainly a staple part of my cooking. And I think there are plenty here in the UK now who do rely on plentiful supply of vegetables and salads and lettuces. The days of British cuisine being quite as backwards as some around the world might imagine are behind us. But certainly people will be able to rely on other foods as well. And if this is only for a few weeks and it's a supply chain blip, perhaps it won't turn out to have been the worst thing after all.
Well, I can already see you eating your tomato sauce pasta this evening, Jonathan. And just to be clear, personally, I adore British cuisine. I cannot think about something more satisfying than a scone. And I'm saying it right? Jonathan Sacerdoti at 24 News.
Put the cream on first.
Of course. No clotted cream in Israel. At 24 News UK correspondent Jonathan Sacerdoti, thank you so very much, and bon appetit.